Oh, yeah.
Wow, what a great promo that is. That was Baby Dinosaur. Not the mama. Gotta love me. Remember that? Remember Dinosaurs? Jim Henson's That was like the last thing he did with along with the Ninja Turtles movie before he passed away. So we got the Jack LaLanne infomercial here. So this will be very brief, like the last one. I picked different shows I liked. I always change the channel. Um, I don't I don't know what Elba's favorite cartoons. Probably Casper the Friendly Ghost or Looney Tunes. I mean, there was the '60s, so '70s. I mean, you had like live action like Saturday morning shows and Sid and Marty Krofft and some of those groovy, ghouly type cartoons back then. But for me, I believe she was 25 at the time. This is 1991, 92. So um, for me, it was these different. So we're gonna look at Darkwing Duck. We're gonna look at the Super Mario Brothers 3, Super Mario World, Riders in the Sky, and anything else I missed. So it's going to be very brief. We're looking at this old infomercial here because, of course, time had moved on. So let's look, actually, before we even do that, let's look at this.
Our special report at 10.
Oh, yes. Remember that report. She got fat. You know, I got to tell you. So this is the Family Matters family. And there's TV Dad. TV Dad is always in charge. If he wants you to get a puppy, he'll get you a puppy. It's like when I think of Carl, I think of the Gilligan and Skipper in Back to the Beach in the '80s. Remember when the Gilligan's Island cast came back in the '80s? You know, reunion time. That's what I think when I see that TV Dad commercial. I always think of that stuff. Yep, there's Steve. So I always thought Urkel would be the mascot later on, you'd see, but it actually turns out to be him.
Ooh, now that was a close one.
All right.
So yeah, I do remember this, but there's a key reason why I remember this.
Oh, that sounds good.
Sorry I'm late.
Oh,
But
shit.
I stopped at Phil's Fish Market and picked up some catfish jerky. Watch out for those whiskers.
Starting. It's time for more cool TV on the ABC
Oh, my God.
Saturday Morning Preview Special.
Da-da-da-da-da.
Appearances by MC Hammer and Darkwing Duck.
From rapping rhymes to rapping subs.
Saturday morning's all-new cartoons
Hammerman.
and pictures.
Oh, my
And
God.
From the cast of Family Matters, Reginald Bell Johnson, Kelly Shanae Williams, and
Yeah.
Jaleel White as Steve Urkel.
Julio's the only one that looks the same, and so does Reginald, right?
We'll return
Now,
to ABC Saturday
let's look
Morning
at this
Preview
commercial
Special after
for a
these
moment.
messages.
Let's look at this commercial
ABC
because
Saturday
I
Morning
remember
Preview.
this.
Brought to you by Nintendo.
And this would be the
Makers of
first
new
time
Super Nintendo
we would
Entertainment
see
System and
Super
great new
Nintendo
games like
in motion.
Super Mario World
This was a
and
preview.
Now you're playing with
This is
power.
like
Super
original
power.
Nintendo Direct. The original Direct.
Suddenly the sky is a little clearer. The water is a little bluer. The road's a little bumpier. The jumps are harder.
Yep.
The levels deeper.
Oh my God, look at all this.
Graphics cooler. The
This is a
signals
big
darker.
cock and deal. The first time we would see any of this.
Suddenly the world's a more exciting place to be. Super Mario World. It comes only as part of the system it was created for. The Super Nintendo Entertainment System. The next generation from Nintendo.
Now you're playing with power. Super power. Yep. Now this is a little side segue here. This is my Super Nintendo, of course. That's not the original controller, but Hypershot. Very glittery, isn't it? But I got this Super Nintendo on near the holidays. So after like months after I saw that Saturday morning preview special, my mom got this for me, and I got it for $187. So it was originally over $200, but it was at a swap meet, so I would get it for like $187. And of course, That's not the original game. That's Star Fox. One of my rarest, most expensive Super Nintendo cartridges, and it's worn out. It's got that color, the yellowish fade on it. But it's had some good, and it still works. Unlike my N64, this thing works. And I could also play the original Super Mario RPG. One of my favorites. One of my favorite games. I think I still have the manual for that. The last Super Nintendo game I ever played. I have my games somewhere. They're all scattered about. Let me see if I could find it. I couldn't find it, but I found Donkey Kong Country 3 instead. One of the final Super Nintendo, actually the final Nintendo game was Kirby's Dream Land 3, but so many memories. So this is this system has stood the test of time, unlike my Nintendo and my N64 and my Virtual Boy. All right, back to commercials. So with the Little Caesars commercials, they used to be funny. They had George Burns in one. They used to really be amusing.
Extra pepperoni.
That's when the commercials were commercials. Ha ha ha!
Without paying for it.
Now it's about $5 pizza. Lots of
On 2 pizzas without paying extra.
Sorry.
We now return to ABC Saturday morning preview.
God, so many memories. The Super Nintendo. I bought so many games for it.
Why would you bring a big jar of catfish jerky?
I did like that Laura and Urkel got together in the end of the, 6 seasons?
I have a better question. What are you doing here?
Well, I'm here to watch the Saturday morning preview special.
Well, Steve, Laura and I sort of planned on watching it alone.
Oh, poppycock, you big punster. A little poupon for your jerky?
No, thank you. I just want to watch the show quietly without any interruptions, okay?
Roger. When the cartoon's gonna start? I can't wait. I just can't wait. Can't wait. I can wait.
It's Land of the Lost.
Oh, God. We can skip. This is like that's like a 90s, version of what Sid and Marty Krofft did in the 70s. Keep in mind, this was 2 years before Jurassic Park. Yep. There was a cheap dinosaur movie that came out, and then there was the real deal with Steven Spielberg.
Land of the Lost.
Oh, my God.
I'm Darkwing Duck.
This superhero is on the run.
Yep.
Can stop us.
Darkwing.
Fighting is so much fun with Darkwing Duck.
Now, Darkwing Duck was kind of a continuation of DuckTales, because he had Launchpad McQuack. And I remember the Disney Afternoon collection with DuckTales, Gummy Bears, and then we'd have Tailspin, Chippendales Rescue Rangers, and this was another one of these. And I was really like, it was like the first like kind of superhero-based Disney adventure for the 90s. So you had like Bushroot, you had Megavolt, you had Negaduck, you had Terry Bull, and he turned into a cyborg. I remember that one. So I have this one on my Steam Deck now. I never got it for the Nintendo, but I do have it on the Steam Deck because it can't get on the Switch. And yeah, it's a fun. I mean, Jim Cummings is great as Darkwing Duck, and I think he came back for the new DuckTales cartoon as like the legendary Darkwing Duck. I remember the voice actor who did the voice of the original Launchpad was disappointed that they didn't recast all the actors for the new DuckTales. But I forgot his name, Alan Wright, Alan Cummings, I think, who did Scrooge McDuck. He passed away in 2015 or so, and then a few years later, the one who did the voice for Birdie and is it Huey, Dewey, and Louie, Minnie Mouse, she passed away. So a lot of voice actors had passed on, so it wasn't going to be possible to do that. But to have a reboot was fine. I think that was one of the few good things Disney did. You know, Disney, when they want to make good projects, they could. But back in the 90s, when Michael Eisner was in charge, that was a time to be proud of Disney with Mulan and The Little Mermaid and Pocahontas and Beauty and the Beast and all the cartoons. This was the golden age. Well, not the golden age. I would say it's one of the best times that you were proud to have been like a Disney fan, because like all the animated movies and TV shows and video games, because Capcom did this video game too. All the DuckTales and all the Disney Afternoon collection, Capcom did those. So it was great. So yeah, we're gonna just. I never did this part yet. Supposedly you're supposed to do all these and then you go through the levels and shit. But I mean, it's great. We can stare at this forever. Let's move on to the next cartoons.
I love being a
There's Beetlejuice again.
It's the juicy. No more jive. These
Oh
are
yes.
for all you
MC Hammer had his own cartoon with his dancing magical shoes.
crime
Hammer Man, Hammer, Hammer Man, Hammer, Hammer Man. Yeah. But that's as good as his glory. Pirates of Dark Water. When I watched Wind Waker, it reminded me of Pirates of Dark Water. You know, Zelda Wind Waker is one of my favorite, like, you know, linear games. And this.
Busters.
This is like one of the last seasons that Ghostbusters was on. Like, I think after '92, you didn't see any more Ghostbusters. Not until you got to Extreme Ghostbusters. And that was like on Sundays on KCOP 13 Los Angeles. So yeah, Land of the Lost, Darkwing Duck. I got into the, the whole storylines. The one that the dog that turns himself into water.
Now the chase is on.
MacGyver.
To the death. Don't miss MacGyver.
The original MacGyver, not the new one.
Strangers.
Yeah. That's when all your your TGIF shows were on the air. That's gone too. Yeah. Land of the Lost. Yeah, that's as good as his glory went, because MC Hammer just was like, whatever. He did a commercial with Ed McMahon.
All these shows are really great, so meet me here. Let's make a day.
Yeah, do the Urkel.
Go home.
Fuck off. Let's go to NBC. Well, first look at some commercials, but this is the first Yogi cartoon without Dawes Butler. They had like new actors, like, hey, like younger people instead of the guy. Because when you hear Dawes Butler talk, he would sound like Huckleberry Hound, but he passed away in '88.
Get on, doggy.
Rustle up my Kid Cuisine Mega Meals. Yummy, yummy, yum.
I remember. I don't think they make these anymore, right? I don't think so. Maybe they do. I don't remember, but they weren't much. I mean, if you didn't eat that much food. I still remember the Swanson meals with the spaghetti, vanilla pudding, peas, and mashed potatoes. Those are good. Oh my god. God, that's when these are so fucking cringe.
Magic Bottle Baby Toddler and Newborn. When you press the buttons, you can choose whether they'll laugh, cry, drink, even burp.
We give them their dinner, it's true. But we love them the best when they're through. Excuse me.
Oh god, I remember this commercial. This commercial sucked.
And now back to Yo-Yo. No, Chip, it's Yo-Yo.
We're gonna skip ahead to Mario.
Wake up, King Dad. Time for your midnight sneak attack on the Mushroom Kingdom. We got away from Cookie. This was his sinister scheme.
I'm awake. I'm ready. Let's get him.
Well, Cheatsy, while Dad takes his beauty sleep, it looks like we'll have to order this attack.
This cartoon. So, this is a continuation of the Super Mario Brothers Super Show that was always airing on Fox. 4 o'clock in the afternoon, or 3:30, and then you had King Koopa's Cool Cartoons. But this aired on NBC, and it kept faithful mostly to they had a new voice. It wasn't Lou Albano, Captain Lou anymore. They had a new voice actor. And I don't know if it was a different voice actor for Luigi, but it was amazing seeing this and between that and Super Mario World. And I have no idea what this scene is about. Don't ask. It introduced Yoshi. So these two sets of cartoons, actually Mario Brothers 3 debuted in 1990, and then this 91, 92. And had it not been, I think, for the that certain movie that came out with Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo, I do think we would have seen a Super Mario Kart cartoon. But the momentum stopped with that live action movie, and we didn't see Dick for years. We Captain N would still go on. Then you would have Mega Man X and Kirby. There were so many other cartoons. F-Zero. There was so many different kinds of cartoons. But Pokemon eventually took over as the main cartoon, and you would just watch Pokemon adventures with Ash and Misty and Brock. Yeah, I mean, like most of these video game cartoons, they were fun to watch. I think Kirby's probably my favorite because every time Kirby would cause trouble and something would have to be cleaned up. But that's going to be for another time. That's when we got into the 2000s with the anime style Saturday morning cartoons. But this is like the last of the traditional Mario ones. There would not be another Mario cartoon technically until we got to Universal Studios, the Super Mario Brothers movie in 2023. Or, yeah, it was 23. Keep forgetting. So, I enjoyed these cartoons. They weren't much, but they're worth watching again, just to see how tired you get of them. Now for some more commercial breaks. These guys were like, the stoner skater dudes. They would always, they would say Super Mario World. Yeah, I remember these. It was so dumb. No more sperm for him. He can't make babies no more. But at least he can fill everything from the waist up.
Bo Jackson may know baseball, but I know Mother Brain. When she signed up in the
That's supposed to be Bo Diddley or Bo Jackson. So that's like the team up, the power hour of power. Yeah, so that's the theme music for this. Da, 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 da. Yeah, I guess this is proof why you can't do it in live action. Yeah, they added that caveman kid, that cave kid for some reason. I don't know what it is. Cabbage Patch. They still made Cabbage Patch in the 90s. Still have that 80s style to things.
You don't need heat for these hot looks.
Hey, Lizzie, looks just like you. Pretty Crippen Curl, let's get styling, girl.
Ah, yes, I remember. Some of these I forget, the jingles too. Ah, yes, they still try to do this. I mean, we were entering the 90s, the golden age of black comedy, new technologies like the CD player. But we got these kind of weird 80s style commercials going on. Oh my god. I just remember bits and pieces of this.
I'm back, and so is Captain.
We're going to switch over to CBS. Now, I remember, of course, Back to the Future cartoon, in which Dan Castellaneta, Homer Simpson, he did the voice of Doc Brown, even though, God damn it, what's his name? Christopher Lloyd did, like, the segments, the live-action segments between the beginning and the ending, and so you had, was it Bill Nye? And he had Biff's relatives in every episode. And I remember Mother Goose and Grimm, very little, because it was like, when you had like, Baby Blues and Marvin the Baby and Garfield and Peanuts cartoons. They were still trying to make money off of like, I think Outland, right? Outland or Bloom County was also another cartoon special. But they turned cartoon specials into Saturday morning cartoons. Garfield had one, Peanuts, Charlie Brown had a cartoon, Saturday morning cartoons. So yeah, this is one of those too. Didn't last more than a season.
Why don't we want Sourdough to hear us?
Because, Woody Paul, today's our old sidekick's birthday.
Yep, it's Sourdough's birthday, and we don't want him to know. Why don't we want him to know it's his birthday?
Knows it's his birthday, Woody Paul. We don't want him to know about the surprise party we're having for him.
Oh, right. And that's why we're whispering, isn't it?
Right. Sometimes I think Woody, because that's what he is between the ears.
The ears? Are you sure?
I resent that.
I kind of wonder if this is if the person who designed this designed Woody for Toy Story. Anyway, Riders in the Sky. I think it's like a real country music band, and they did this Saturday morning cartoon show because they wanted they were it's kind of old fashioned like Buffalo Bob and what is it Howdy Doody. Kind of reminded me of that where he called the kids Peanuts long before Charles Schultz made Peanuts comic strips. So it was like you had morals. You had a bad guy, a bad sheriff, or a bad mayor who was the villain of the show, and they were just different segments, different things. It was Saturday morning. It didn't last more than a season. I do remember the Sea Monkeys. If we get to that, Vinny Vinesauce would love to know more about that. I know he would because he loves the cringe shit. But the Flying Sea Monkeys one, that's the cringiest one. That might be the next year or two, but we'll take a look at that later. But this was one of the nicer shows. I think Weird Al Yankovic had his own live-action cartoon split in '97 for CBS. But this was mostly what I wanted to show you was Rider. It was kind of that old-fashioned Saturday morning show, before the cartoons, before the 70s, before the 80s and the 90s. This was kind of like going back to old-fashioned value, the kind of show Ronald Reagan would cry a tear for, I think. I think Ronald Reagan was still coherent back then. I hope you had as much fun watching this as I did putting it together. Probably get another goddamn copyright fucking claim. I got a claim for my remembering album. That's okay. That's right. That's okay to do that. You don't profit off of somebody's death. It's not the appropriate thing. But this is for fun. I mean, I want to see if I could just get around the copyrights for this kind of a thing, because I want to show you as much as I can without getting anything blocked. I try to figure out how long a segment goes. The commercials weren't as memorable. Like, the more the memories go back to the 70s and 80s, but this was still part of my childhood. And this is one of the last times before I started high school. And, Darkwing Duck was kind of that. They still showed Darkwing Duck into my high school years. So there's just so much. But if you like this video, give it a like or subscribe, or you know what to do. You know what to do. I ain't going to tell you what to do. But one of the things I wanted to show you was my Super Nintendo. And we'll get into 93, 94, I think. If not 95 for sure, because they have the Skeleton Warriors and all that. But I think Garfield was ending its new episode run by 94. So there's just a lot of things that didn't last too long. I wanted to show a little bit of everything that I scanned across the television channels. And it's not there anymore. But take the 90s as you see it. Maybe I'll get into the game shows in a separate segment. But let me know. Let me know what you want to see. And until next week.